I love the beginning of a new month because it means it's time to tally up all the passive income I received in the last month for my investments. So today, I want to share the 10 companies that paid me a dividend last month, and I'll share my year-to-date dividend income as I continue to work towards my goal of $3,500 in passive income by the end of this year. The first company to pay me in the month of April is none other than JEPI, the JP Morgan Equity Premium Income ETF. And you can see year to date that they're actually up in share price by 1.1%. This is an ETF, so it does come with an expense ratio, and that expense ratio is a little on the higher side at 0.35%. This monthly payer has a dividend yield of 11.23%. I presently own just under 60 shares of JEPI and received a dividend payment of $26.26, and that's where we begin the month. The next company to pay me in April was Altria Group. Ticker symbol is MO, and it's presently trading for $47.18. Some people love it, and some people just don't. You can see year to date, they're actually up in share price by 3.65%. The forward PE is only 9.46, and the dividend yield pretty hefty at 7.87%. With some pretty solid dividend grades overall, you can see the 53 years of dividend growth, a 5-year dividend growth rate of 7.18%, and again, there's that 7.87% dividend yield. I presently own 107 shares of Altria Group and received a payment of $100.32, bringing my monthly total up to $126.58. The third company to pay me was Algonquin Power and Utilities Corporation. Ticker symbol is AQN. They're presently trading for $8.47 and is actually up year to date in share price by 25.85%. The forward PE is 14.54%, and that dividend yield is pretty hefty at 5.14%, but it was actually even better because they recently cut their dividend, which you can see here, where they dropped in the month of December of last year from 18 cents a share all the way down to 11 cents a share. And that's one of the reasons why I won't be getting any dividends from Algonquin anymore. It just didn't feel like it met the metrics that I needed to be a part of my portfolio. But I owned 159 shares, so I received a payment of $17.06, bringing my total up to $143.64. The next company to pay me was Care Trust REIT. Ticker symbol is CTRE, and right now they're trading at $19.25. You can see year to date, they're actually up in share price by 3.31%. The price to funds from operation is at 13.09, and the dividend yield right now is 5.79%. But it doesn't have any years of dividend growth, and the payout ratio is in the negative, and for that reason, it was time to say goodbye. I had just under 29 shares and received a payment of $6.36, which brings my total for the month to $150. Like JEPI, Main Street Capital is a monthly payer. Presently trading for $40.36, they're actually up in share price year to date by just under 10%. The forward PE is 10.48, and they've got a dividend yield of 6.66%. Looking at the dividend summary for Main Street Capital, you can see only 2 years of dividend growth and a very small 5-year dividend growth rate of 2.84%. Payout ratio a little on the higher side for my liking at 78.88%. But I've got 93 shares, and they paid me $35.91. Bringing my monthly total up to $185.91. Another monthly payer is Realty Income Corporation, ticker symbol O. Year to date, they're down in share price by 3.78%, and the price to funds from operation is 15.12. Forward yield of 4.92%. This real estate investment trust has been growing their dividend for 26 years, and my 102 shares paid me $24.75, bringing my total up to $210.66. The seventh company to pay me was Medtronic, and the ticker symbol is MDT. Currently trading for $90.23. Year to date, they're actually up in share price by 15%. The PE is 17.19, and the dividend yield right now is 3%. Looking at the dividend summary, you can see 9 years of dividend growth and a 5-year dividend growth rate of 8.13%. Payout ratio is only 50.86%. But I only have 10 shares, so they paid me $6.88, which brings my total up to $217.54. My 8th dividend payment came from PepsiCo. Ticker symbol is PEP, and they're presently trading at $192.25. Year to date, they're actually up in share price by 7.16%. PE is a little on the higher side at 26.17, and the dividend yield is 2.4%. When we look at the dividend grades, you can see they're pretty solid overall. Dividend yield a little bit on the lower side, but Pepsi's got 50 years of dividend growth. 5-year dividend growth rate is 7.39%, and the payout ratio is 65.71%. And I feel like I say this every time, you guys. I really need to increase my position in Pepsi. Good thing I have shares of SCHD because it's one of the larger holdings. My 3.6 shares of Pepsi paid me $3.89, bringing my total up to $221.43. Philip Morris is another one of the companies that I'm choosing to say goodbye to. It just didn't meet the cut when I compared it to some of the other companies that I have in my portfolio. You can see here that they're trading for $96.91 year to date, down in share price by 4.33%. Forward PE is 15.87, but the dividend yield is pretty hefty at 5.11%. Some pretty solid dividend grades overall. With 14 years of dividend growth, the 5-year dividend growth rate is definitely on the lower side at 3.55%, with the payout ratio a little bit on the high side at 87.54%. And as I mentioned, this will be the last payment that I received from Philip Morris. I had 14 shares that paid me $18.38, bringing my total up to $239.81. And finally, here we are at TD Bank, presently trading for $59.52. Year to date, they're down in share price by 5.66%. The forward PE is 9.21 and the dividend yield is 4.55%. With 8 years of dividend growth and a 5-year dividend growth rate of 7.13%, TD Bank has a payout ratio of only 42.23%. I presently own 46 shares of TD Bank and received a dividend payment of $32.23. Bringing my total for the month of April to $272.04. The good news is, when I look at this month over month and quarter over quarter, I'm continuing to make progress. If we look at quarter 1 of 2022, I landed at $690. The following quarter, I was up to $842, and I'm really hopeful for the income I'm going to bring in May and June so that I'm going to finish this next quarter strong. And if I also look at month 1 of each of the quarters, you can see that in October, I brought in $226. By January, I brought in $269. And in April, while it was a small increase, it was only $2.70, it was still another step in the right direction. And here's a quick snapshot of what my dividend income looks like month over month, year over year. And the good news is, in the trailing 12 months, my dividend total right now is up to $2,666.84. I'm getting closer to my goal of $3,500 for the year. So I gotta know. You gotta leave me a comment, you guys. How much dividend income did you receive last month? You gotta tell me. I would love to hear who your biggest payers were and even who your smallest payers were, because you know what? Those small payers turn into something bigger over time. So leave me a message below so we can cheer each other on. And then go and take a peek at this video next. And so I received a check for $8 and no, there's no 8. Man, I'm flipping my numbers. Holy hell. Holy heck. Stupid things I'm saying. It's probably going to suck. I don't even know. I just blew up my whole portfolio.